How are y'all doing today? Apparently, I'm really running behind. I got to get used to people recognizing me that I have never met because I try to remember everybody. And now I'm meeting people that are waving a book like this young lady in the back. And it's awesome, but it takes some getting used to because I'm from Kentucky and I'm a very shy person. And if you didn't know that about me, you can't tell it from the way I talk, but I am very shy. So we're going to talk about marketing the off season. When we're doing marketing in any season, whether it's the off season or busy season, you got to break out of being shy. You got to get people to know who you are. So let's jump into this. And of course, this is sponsored by our association that we're doing. We just started the association. Our focus is going to be on education of all food truck owners, as well as advocacy to change the rules and regulations to make your life easier. Very important to me that we make y'all's life easier, because if I can make your red tape life easier, then you can spend more time selling food and making more money. All right, let me tell you a little bit about me if you don't already know who I am. I know a bunch of y'all do know who I am, but I have worked in a bunch of different restaurant chains. I've been the corporate trainer. I'm the one that would train all the management. So that means I had to read all the rules and regulations specific to that particular company. So Rax or Wendy's, or I even worked at McDonald's, even though it's not up there. Worked at a whole bunch of different places. I was always a corporate trainer because I'm very calm and relaxed, and I make sure people do the way things are supposed to be done. I've also been a street food vendor. All those different logos that you see up there, those are all my different concepts. The one in the second one from the top was a boat. I like to talk about that one because I had a whole bunch of fun doing that. It was in the Virgin Islands. If you've never been to the Virgin Islands, you need to go. It is a great place to be. The very one at the bottom there, Food Truck 101, that is the current one we have, me and my wife, Melissa. And it is a pretty busy food truck. And I've written 4 books, 5 total. One of them is a workbook companion to Food Truck 101. And of course, I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association. We just started a couple of months ago. We're still in process of becoming an official nonprofit. You would think that all you could do is put in an application and the IRS will say, yes, you're a nonprofit. But for some reason, it takes 210 days. Don't know why. But you know how the government is. All right. So we'll go back to that one. When we're doing marketing in off-season, busy seasons, whatever the season is, you got to understand what you're going to do, what the goal is. Obviously, the goal of marketing is to raise sales, but sometimes you're just going to raise awareness. So you want to look at sales data. You want to look at what the previous off-season was like. Even if you've never done an off-season, you know it's going to be slow in your area. Where I live in Florida, we have seasons. Florida's always hot, but we do have seasons. When I came from Kentucky, we had real seasons up there where weather got hotter, weather got colder. And the seasons are different from area to area. So when I say off-season, it doesn't necessarily mean wintertime. For us in Florida, wintertime's pretty darn busy because we got all the snowbirds that are coming down to Florida to avoid the winter in whatever state they're from. So our slow season actually is May is very slow because we're in between vacation points. Spring breaks over. People are back home trying to graduate their kids from school, so they're not taking a vacation. So May is really slow. Then we're really slow in September and October. And if you want to know when the slow season is in your area, look at what hotel prices are. Hotels move prices up when it's busy because they know people are going to be coming. And then they move prices down when they need people to come to the hotel. So when they move prices down, you can rest assured your area has fewer tourism. It's going to be slower. You want to talk to guests, especially before you get into what you think your off-season is going to be. And ask them, if I stay open this year, are you going to come visit me? How often will you come visit me? Or are you going to say, no way in the world am I getting out in the snow to come visit your food truck? You need to know that. I told you I live in Florida. I've lived in Florida the last 30-some years. Most of our kids were born in Florida. Several years on my hot dog cart, I just didn't even open in November, December, or January, even though the weather's fine, but there just was not enough people to keep me going. So I just went ahead and closed. If you're going to close, you got to have a plan in place to do two things. One is to make sure you can pay the bills while you're closed, but then the other thing is to remind people you exist. Otherwise, you end up starting all over when you do reopen. So you got to keep people reminded of who you are. And you want to look at what the competitors are doing. Doesn't mean they're doing something smart, but you want to at least know what they're doing. Some people will stay open no matter what, and that's perfectly fine. Other people will do like I did, and they'll close for 2 months, 3 months at a time. But you got to make that decision before you get to that point, and then make sure that it's the right decision for you as far as the cash flow goes. Now that food truck there is, all kind of stuff coming up automatically. That food truck there is from Canada, and that's a typical snow that they have in Canada. They close on purpose the end of October, and they don't reopen until sometime in April. And they are an amazing group of people. If you follow them, you will learn more about social media marketing and just how your food should look than probably anywhere else that you can go. The name of the business is Pearson Street Smash Burgers and Melts. And if you were at the food cost presentation yesterday, you saw one of their burgers. Amazing people. I've talked to them 2 different times for the podcast. If your snow is kind of light like that, you might have people come out at it, because people that live in places where it's snow don't mind the snow. But if you live in a place like this one, where there's a whole bunch of snow and ain't nobody getting out, you need to make that decision before you get to that point. What am I going to do? Am I going to close? If I'm going to be open, how do people get to me, or how do I get the food to them? Because you got control over your business. And I don't even remember what that QR code's for. I should have marked it. That is Pearson Street. Good. Go to Pearson Street. Follow them. Tell them Bill sent you. The 2 people that own Pearson Street, they're both named Chris. One with a C, one with a K. And they are just awesome people. The female version, Chris, she's the one that does all the social media marketing. And she is always talking to people. Always on social media. They've won numerous awards. If you look at their little edge right here, that's all the different awards that they've won. They are outside of Ottawa, Canada, a good distance from Ottawa. And they are busy all the time. I love Pearson Street. Love talking to them. You want to seasonally refine or define, what it should say, your guest pool. If you're going to be open in the winter, and you know that the winter is going to be a slow season as far as people walking up to your food truck, there are things you can do that can improve or increase your business. You can do meal prep. There are a number of franchises popping up now that do meal prep. So they're putting the food that's cold inside of containers and then giving the instructions to how to microwave or heat up that meal. And there's big business with that. There are a number of food trucks that are able to do that. You're just pre-prepping a whole bunch of food, let people order it ahead, and you know exactly how much food to buy, how much food to prep, and they just got to come by, pick it up, take it back, and then they microwave it and heat it up based on whatever your instructions are. There are people that do that, and that's all they do. They don't even bother with their food truck anymore. They just use their commissary and set that stuff up. And of course, in the winter, you've got different types of parties. You've got the Christmas parties. You've got office parties to celebrate Christmas and all the other holidays that fall in December. New Year's Eve parties, that type of thing. You can do caterings. Thanksgiving. One of my friends that is supposed to be here at some point today, he is here in Houston. He's a barbecue truck, or he's a barbecue caterer is what he is. He has a couple of different things that he does, but he's been a caterer essentially for, I think, 7-8 years. He's got 2 trailers now. And he tells me at Thanksgiving time, he does the turkeys and does them a couple different ways. He will do nothing but that, starting with Sunday until Thursday, to get the food ready for people to pick up for the holiday. And he has told me that in the past he's done enough sales just that 1 week that he don't bother with December at all. So it's just, you got to understand what you can and can't do. What? Meal prep, it's if you imagine a 2-compartment plate. Okay, so you're going to put vegetables in one compartment, and then a meat or a protein in the other compartment. It's going to have the lid on it. You're going to have instructions on the top, and people can pre-order those meals. So you might have some type of chicken that you do really, really well. And you may have perhaps a steak, something like that. So you've done all the prep work. The food is ready to go, but you've chilled it back down so that all the guest has to do when they pick them up is take them home, pop in the microwave.
Okay, so it's not cooked.
Oh no, it is cooked for the most part.
Just warm it up then.
Yeah, they're just warming it up. Yeah. Rest or pizza places call it take and bake. Of course, that one is completely raw, but we used to do that in our pizza place. I can think of the name, Clean Eats is one of the franchises, and their claim to fame was the food that they prepare is supposed to be a little bit better for you. But they eventually kind of morphed into, we don't care if it's good or not, we just want you to buy food. So they got some stuff that's not quite as healthy. But their whole store is nothing but, you walk in and it's just a line of coolers with already pre-made meals in it, and you just pick up what you want and then take them home and cook them. If you get on their mailing list, they will tell you, like on Thursday, what they're preparing for the next week, and you can pre-order and then just come and pick it up. And so it allows them to know how much food to buy. It's a pretty neat concept. And there's other franchises besides them.